Hey everybody, Adam Savage here in one of my favorite places in the world, in the Mary Baker Conservation Hangar at Udvar-Hazy with Pat Robinson.
How are you, Adam?
Pat, tell me what you do here.
I'm a museum specialist
Okay.
here in the Preservation and Restoration Unit of the Udvar-Hazy Center. This is our shop. This is where we do all the restoration and conservation work.
I love this shop. I love the smell of this shop. It has a particular
It
smell
does.
of its own.
It does.
A little bit of cosmoline and
A little bit of attic
wing material.
a little bit of attic action going
Exactly.
on in there. Yeah.
Tell me, behind here is a Wright brothers creation.
It is. So this is
One I didn't know about.
So this is a Wright EX. The Model EX.
What does EX stand for?
It's just the latest variant.
Okay.
That the brothers were working on.
And what year is this?
This is 1911.
1911.
So
Okay,
this is
7 years
1911.
after their flight.
Exactly.
This is, is the fabric original?
It is not.
Okay.
It is not.
I would imagine it couldn't be.
This was purchased by a fellow named Calbraith Rodgers.
Okay.
And he purchased it with the intention of going after the reward for the first aircraft to cross the United States.
So by 1911, the Wright brothers were taking orders and building planes for people that had the money.
Taking on the customers.
Right.
Exactly. They're turning this into a profit-making venture.
It is funny. I own their collected letters, and you read their collected letters, and up until they fly, it's all of this flight information and aerodynamic stuff. And after they fly, it's all patent protection.
Yep. It's all patent. They took their engineer hat off and they put their salesman hat on.
Makes
and say,
total sense.
Let's get our investment back.
Okay, so they build this plane in 1911, and Cal Rogers.
He purchases it.
Yeah.
And they give him some instruction. Mr. Rogers proceeds to set off for California from New York.
Was he? Wait. So why was he flying from why was he making this flight?
Well, there is of course the historical significance of it. The first aircraft to cross the United States.
Right.
But there's also a reward involved. So William Randolph Hearst, which is the newspaper magnate, he put up a reward but you had to do it in 30 days.
A reward for crossing the country in an airplane within 30
in
days. What was the reward?
$50,000 at that time.
In 1911, that's like equivalent of millions.
That's big money.
Yeah.
That's big money.
That's generational money back then.
That's as you say, generational money. They did give him instruction. He comes with the airplane. When you purchase the airplane, they're going to give you some instruction in it.
So he wasn't a pilot.
He was not. He was not. There were few pilots around.
This is the brave new world of the early 20th century.
This is wonderful. I've bought this thing. Now teach me how to fly this thing.
Oh my God! And the seat is so diminutive. There's no seat belt.
There's no seat belt. No ejection seat. If you make a mistake, well, you've made a mistake. So again, he's got 11 hours total time when he sets off on this attempt.
That was the amount of hours he'd had flying anything.
Anything. So 11 hours total time. And today, with the students that we have today, you've probably soloed maybe in that much time. Some of the faster students pick it up that far, but you're in no way ready to be separated from your instructor. But
a flying license is at least like 40 hours of actual training.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So you're sitting your customer in the airplane. You're showing them how it works. This does this. This does this. Don't do anything stupid. Have a great day.
Oh my God.
So needless to say, almost every time he landed the aircraft, he had some sort of mishap. He twisted
every single time.
Every single time he bent this. He rubbed this. This kind of a thing. So the aircraft that left New York and the aircraft that arrived in San Diego.
It's like the ship of Theseus.
Yeah,
it's barely the same.
It's very, very different, and nobody's panning over and filming the mechanic that's over there, and he's got all the broken pieces and parts. Right. This kind of a thing.
So he's fixing it in situ wherever he is.
Every time it lands.
Along this, does he get even close to 30 days?
I think it took a total of 41 days for him to do it.
That blows. Again, in 1911 America, it's not like wherever you land there's a hardware store.
No.
You got to find some farmer with the right amount of wire or fabric.
And they had a truck. They were following him.
Okay, right, because he's not going that fast.
He's not going that fast. The truck might even be able to get to the next town and have lunch waiting on him.
Have some Band-Aids.
By the time so it would have attracted a lot of attention.
Yeah. Of course. The local
fields.
newspapers would let you know it's coming.
And of course, Mr. Hearst wants first right to those stories. So, his newspapers benefit from that.
Fair. Okay. And that actually also increases his ability to go find help.
Exactly.
because people know he's there.
Yeah, I'll help you.
Yeah,
I'll help you fix this thing. What exactly does it?
Does he?
So
go ahead. Sorry.
It's how much of this is from the original aircraft? There's hardware involved.
Right.
There's hardware involved. There's bits and pieces that are from the original aircraft, but the rest is from a restoration effort that was done in the 60s and 70s.
Right.
When they built it, so we would have a representative of it. They call it the Vin Fizz because that was his #1 sponsor. It's Vin Fizz grape soda.
Oh my God, Vin! So it was an advertising campaign.
It was.
Wow. What's more 20th century than that?
and it was an unsuccessful soda. They didn't do so well. They
Fizz
wound up
didn't
closing
take.
their doors, and it didn't happen. But it says it on the bottom as well.
Oh my God!
So-
Of course! Holy cow!
So as you're flying over the towns,
You were advertising this drink.
You're advertising the drink. So the Vin Fizz company gets the benefit of that.
Oh my God! I'm both appalled and delighted at the same time.
I don't know how he felt. Folks coming out and saying Vin Fizz and the things in somebody's farm field all wrapped in a ball. It's like, oh, maybe not.
This is being prepped to be displayed here.
To be displayed here. We had it downtown, where it was suspended from the ceiling.
Right.
And it's still got the jig on there for that where it was suspended. It will be displayed here at the Udvar-Hazy Center on the floor.
Okay.
It'll be up on a stand. Obviously, we don't want to set anything down on the floor.
Right.
And protect it, but we'll have a really good view of it, and people will be able to see it here. So it didn't go back downtown. It's going to stay here at the Hazy Center.
So there's going to be more parts that bolt to the front and the back.
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
The front there that helps you from rolling over.
Right.
This is the tail assembly here.
Oh, gotcha! Look at that.
It goes on the back.
The tail assembly was metallic. Oh my God,
That's wood.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
that's wood. Just with paint on it. And again, the hardware is original. Bits and pieces of the hardware is original. The wood's new.
Right, of course.
Yeah,
Sure,
the wood
sure.
is new. I can show you a picture of his final landing, and it's in the water. So that wood's the wood's had it.
Is there, how much more time do you have to finish this out? How much more is on
About
your
24
clock?
hours.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's very fast.
We go to the floor tomorrow.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Now we'll continue to do some work once we do get out there on the floor. We're at a stage in the reassembly process and the treatment process where we need to have it assembled now to identify the next issues.
Ah, gotcha.
And to continue working there. As you can see, a lot of flying wires.
Yeah.
A lot of flying wires. And our conservation unit has been working on the rips and the tears that have been in the fabric.
Right.
And doing the fine work that they do there. And they've also been working on, the wires had some rust to them. So there was, treating the wires and then waxing them. Again, we're always going for that 100-year.
Right.
We always tell people here in the shop, traditional mechanics don't do well in this shop. They can't take the pace.
Right.
It's too slow.
Yeah.
They've been taught, get the refrigerator back to the customer, get the car back to the customer. Now they have to think, make it last 100 years. It's a different way of thinking.
And even when something's been redone, like the fabric, you are still treating it as if it's original.
Exactly.
You are still preserving it so that it will last for another 100 years.
Exactly. And this was, and of course, with this model, this was before they started doping the fabric.
Right.
So, it's not in very much tension.
Right.
So it ages even faster.
I'm curious if there's some part on here that you have become particularly fascinated with, or that gave you an insight. Or
That clutch assembly, which is the throttle. It's like, where's the throttle on this thing? And it's either on or it's off. The engine is a facsimile. It's made out of wood because the original engine was lost ages ago.
Sure.
If it was
probably in the ocean on that last
probably
landing.
on the ocean. It may not have even been recovered. I don't know that end of the story. But just the way the chain system works, on the propellers, being able to, your throttle is to actually just disengage, turn the engine off, if you will, but at least you keep the engine running.
Right.
Instead of an interrupter turning the engine on and off, you're just clutching it.
And was that a lever you had up here?
A big old lever. Well, it's actually, the clutch itself is actually a foot pedal.
Oh, wow.
Where you can unclutch it. The big lever that he's got, that's controlling pitch, which is the elevator. And at this point, the Wright brothers have moved the pitch control from having a canard out in front. Mm-hmm. They've moved it to the tail, and that's that assembly back here.
Okay, gotcha.
That's the elevator, which mounts on the back of the tail now.
Okay. Now, I noticed the engine is not mounted in the center. Does that mean the wings are slightly longer on one side than the other?
They are. They're a little bit off, and of course you got the weight of the pilot.
Right, bouncing a bit.
You know, that engine, you know, it had some weight to it, and it's putting out 35 horsepower.
Their engines were cast aluminum, if I remember.
Exactly.
Aren't they? Yeah.
Exactly.
Amazing.
So they're heavy.
Yeah.
They're heavy. The whole thing is about 643 pounds fully assembled. Wow. The whole thing. Without the crew.
Right.
No crew and no fuel in it.
I'm curious because you and I are of a certain age. You've been doing this for a long time.
We're vintage.
We're vintage, but I have come to start to feel part of the continuum. Yeah. I've been doing this long enough where I feel a continuum, and there are times I was in the looking at the original Wright Flyer yesterday, and I feel a connection to these guys.
Sure.
You see their work. Do you feel the same thing?
Yeah, you do. And when you get into things, you start seeing things. You're like, now why in the world is it like that? And you start thinking it through, and you do the research, and then you realize, oh, now I know what they were thinking.
It was an iterative process. This was solving solving a problem.
And with each consecutive model, it gets better.
Right.
It gets better and better and better. And of course, as you were saying, earlier, now we're getting to the point where we need to start selling them.
Right.
So we get some money back on our investment, and maybe make a little money on this if it's possible.
Well, I mean, it was shocking that they were both inventors and excellent businessmen
at the same
time. Those are two totally separate skill sets, completely separated,
which usually winds up biting you. But
yeah. I mean, I like to point out to people that their bicycle company, which again was like the newest tech available, was so successful they could leave it for 4 months a year.
Exactly. Yeah.
And go mess around with kites.
I don't think you and I can walk away for 4 months.
I couldn't walk away from my enterprise for 4 months while I tried some fancy. That blows my mind that they were able to do that.
Yeah, exactly.
So when you feel that connection to them, does it make them more or less amazing?
More amazing.
Yeah.
And it's just how fast the technology was advancing.
Yeah.
They were thinking about this every night. How can we do that better? How can we do that better? And a lot of times, you run into trouble with, with some designs, when you're the engineers, you need to tell the engineer, stop.
Right.
We need to build it. And let's test it and whatnot. You keep tweaking it, you wind up, like with the Olmsted pusher, where you got an engineer that's out of control and nobody said, stop, fly, go fly now.
Well, that's what they did. They did so much in-air training that nobody else was doing.
And there was no instructor.
Yeah.
No one around to show them how to do this. Now rapidly, the FAA, the origins of the FAA, the CAA is starting to come around, after the First World War, and insurance companies were starting to get involved. Like, wait a minute now, I'm not writing you a policy if you're one of those airplane people, Yeah.
What a thrilling communion to get to handle and improve these parts.
It is. Getting access to this collection is a huge responsibility. This is the taxpayers' collection. This is their heritage.
Yeah.
And the industry's heritage. So it's the artifact always comes first with us.
Right.
We always protect the artifact. What is in the best interest of the artifact? So you don't want to be doing any experimenting, on the artifact itself.
Right.
Prove your technique and whatnot, and then apply it to the artifact.
I must admit, when I first heard this morning, because I didn't know about this plane, when I first heard that the Wright brothers built an advertising plane for an advertising stunt from William Randolph Hearst, I was a little like, that is sullying their history. But there's nothing more American than building, than this confluence of commerce and art and engineering.
I'm not exactly, completely sure of how that worked, but I'm going to imagine that Mr. Rodgers, that's how he wound up getting the money to purchase.
I'm sure.
I don't have this kind of money, so he talked the Vin Fizz soda company into helping him.
Yeah.
To be the sponsor. And of course they get the advertising rights, and because they know he's going to fly over towns and people are going to look up and say, hey, Vin Fizz.
Just amazing.
Yeah.
Pat, thank you so much, man.
You are very welcome.
Thrilling history.
You are very welcome.
I will get out of your way. You've got a lot of work to do.
We got a little bit of work to do. But it's great to have you.